Alright, so here are some exercises you can do at home. You can do it any place that you have a flat surface. So a flat horizontal surface, the floor, the ground at the park, whatever. It doesn't matter. You can do it in the middle of the road as long as there aren't cars. So what I'm going to do is kind of run through the gamut of things. I'm not really going to be detailed about it, but hopefully you can see. I give a little bit of instruction. You can see by what I'm doing and what I'm not doing, how to do it correctly. So first one we're going to work on is side lunges. So I'm starting here, I'm getting low. Depending on your level of flexibility, you may or may not be able to get your heels to the ground here, okay? I'm able to do this, right? And some people are way more flexible than me, so this is nothing to them. But some people, when they come down here, they can't get their heels to the ground. That's not that big of a deal. If you can, do it. If you can't, leave your heels up, that's fine. What you don't want is for your back to get too round. So I'm keeping my back straight. One thing I like to do is frame right here on the inside of my thighs to make sure my back stays straight and my chest stays broad. I'm going to reach with one leg like I'm stretching, because I am. This is an active stretch. And then I'm pulling myself to the other side, stretching the other groin, and then bringing this leg back underneath me. This is where most people with lack of flexibility and agility find the most difficult, is coming to here. So again, reach, pull, back underneath me. Reach, pull, back underneath me. Keep going until you hit the end. And when you hit the end, then do the same thing coming back. Reach, pull, back underneath you. Keep that back straight, keep your balance, put your hands down if you need to catch yourself for a second. Reach, pull, back underneath, reach, pull, and back underneath. These next ones are called curtsy lunges, because you're doing, I guess this is like a curtsy, I don't know. I don't do Shakespeare. I've never had a reason to do a curtsy before doing these, or since. But what I want to make sure that I'm doing is stepping across. Okay, so I'm heading in this direction. I'm taking my rear leg and going in front of my leg. I'm not doing this back step thing. This is how, like, traditional martial arts, they gain ground by, like, back stepping. We're not doing back stepping. We're cross stepping in front. Okay? So when I cross step in front, I'm not just doing this and crisscrossing my ankles. Stepping all the way across the front of my leg, and then I'm dropping. So they're curtsy lunges. So it's not just doing this and turning and this and turning. It's lunging. So just like lunges, I'm dropping. So it involves a decent amount of core engagement and a decent amount of balance. So I step across, drop, keep my back straight, and now I'm going to spiral out of it. If I go this way, my legs are cut up. Don't go the way that you can't go. Turn to your open side. So I step across, I lunge, back straight, turn to my open side. So I keep repeating this. You can have your arms out for balance, step across, lunge, turn, step across, lunge, turn, okay? When you hit the end of your area, you're just going to bring the same thing back. When I see people sometimes doing this move incorrectly, chances are it's because they went like this to start off right, and then they keep trying to turn back where they just came from. And then they get confused and they want to pick up their feet. Don't pick up your feet. Once you stepped across, your feet stay planted. I can't turn this way. I got to continue towards the open side. Out, this way, that way. That's the way. You can fix it in between each rep and get your feet underneath your shoulders. Lunges. There's all kinds of good lunges. Really basic is just keeping that back straight and chest broad. Lunging. Lunging in a way that does not allow this knee to touch the ground and rest, but instead is a big deep lunge where you're stretching your hip flexor right here. You'll feel it in the front. And keeping that back straight, chest broad, and then pushing through this front leg without letting this happen. And lunging deep again. So, some variations to this are lunge, arms straight out, turn over your closed side. Keep the arms straight out, turn over your closed side. Again, how that looks going straight forward is lunge, arms straight out, turn. Keep that back straight, don't do this. Keep it back straight, step all the way through, lunge, turn, okay? Another good variation of this is to lunge and then drop your hips as low as you can. Reach towards the ceiling and open up your front body. You can drop your hands again, then step through and lunge again. Reach, drop your hands again. This is really good, obviously, for your core and especially your legs. One other variation is a little bit different. It's more about flexibility, more of an active stretch. So hit that long lunge, and then take your lead arm elbow. So this is my lead leg in this moment. I'm going to drop that same side elbow as low as I can. And then when I go to step through again, I'm keeping that back straight. I'm stepping through and dropping again. So these ones, drop, step through, drop. You should be feeling a really good stretch in your groin, in your hip flexor. It's a good one. Let's move on to some upper body stuff. Unlike just doing push-ups, which are great, these ones are kind of like lateral dropping push-ups, and they're the same as a lot of lunge patterns. So what I'm going to do here is I've got my my feet and my hands shoulder width apart. I'm not here, I'm not here, I'm not here, or anything like that. I want to be robotic with this. When I start this out, my shoulders are above my hands. This is kind of cheating, okay? I want my shoulders above my hands. I don't want my hips to be sagging. And instead, what I'm going to do is move laterally. So if I'm moving in this direction, towards my right in this case, my right hand and my right foot both come up off the ground and reach at the same time, at the same distance. So I go wide, drop, and as I push up, I come back to normal. The biggest way that people screw this up is they go just the hand or just the foot. That'll screw you up. What else will screw you up is even if you do this right, then just trying to do a push-up and then coming back. We're not doing that. Here's how it looks in succession. See, I said that I wasn't going to go on and on explaining, and here I am over-explaining everything. But I want you guys to get it right. So, here, feet and arms shoulder width apart. Drop, push up, and come back a couple inches. Drop, wide, back to normal. Wide, normal, wide, normal. You hit the end of your area, you bring it back. Wide, normal. Drop, push back. Drop, push back, drop, push back. That is a move. And here are some good active stretches for you, okay? You can do this in the beginning, is monster walks. This idea here is that you're not bending your knees at all. You're staying very rigid, and you're just stepping each time, right? See how I kind of bent forward? That's not good. I want to keep my back straight, my chest broad. Step, step, step. If your level of flexibility does not allow you to touch your legs or your feet to your hands, don't try and reach down to touch. Instead, just step, keep that balance, step, step. If this is as high as you can get, that's fine. If you're really tight and inflexible, your legs are going to want to come back down fast, like snapping a rubber band. Try to guide it down nice and slow. Don't take walks in between. Keep the legs straight. Keep the legs straight the whole time. Control the speed at which they come down. Another good one is you take a step, reach over top of your shin, like you're picking up, like you're doing like upright rows or just a regular pull-up grip. Pull, broaden the chest, pull it up as high as you can. Step, pull, step, pull, step, pull, step. All right, those are good moving active stretches. And another good one is inchworms. So I'm gonna have my feet shoulder width apart. Same thing with my hands. I'm gonna start here and hamstring stretch. Don't bend your knees. Keep the legs locked out. Let the hands drop. And now I'm gonna walk my hands forward as far as I can. And now I'm gonna tiptoe back up, keeping my knees locked out all the way into a hamstring stretch, and walk it back down again, tiptoe back up. Notice as I'm doing it, I'm not bending my knees. I'm starting at a hamstring stretch. For me, that's here. For someone else, it might be here. Whatever you got going on with your flexibility, it's fine. Start with your hands on the mat, walk them down as far as you can without letting your hips sag. Keep that core engaged, and now tiptoe back up. You will feel a calf stretch on each little step. Keep walking all the way up to a folded position like this. Walk it back down, and tiptoe back up again. Take your time with all these. These are not necessarily explosive moves. Don't forget your hip heists. If you're wanting to make them more functional, be explosive when you go from facing the ceiling to facing the mat. Move around a little bit in between reps. Go slow with this one. Moving in crab walk. Hip heist fast. Moving around. Moving in bear crawl. Go slow. Then hip heist fast. Okay? Do that for a set amount of time. Same thing with these. Leg up, leg through. Changing direction 90 degrees every time. Arms stay out in front of me. Remember, I'm not doing this. That's just me rolling over. It's the same thing as this hip heist. Same idea. Here, come through, come through, come through again. Then reverse it. My hip is turning as I change direction. My hip is what takes me from facing up to facing down. And let's see, I think that it's going to be useful for you guys to continue, you guys that are in the grappling program, to continue to do your moves that are functional, like those two. And the hip escape is no different. Make sure that you're shoulder bridging, right? Do your shoulder bridges first, start feeling those, and then put your shoulder bridge and hip escape together. Shoulder bridge, hip escape, bring it back. Shoulder bridge, hip escape, bring it back. You can start doing it like that in a robotic way, but then it starts turning into this. You start smoothing the whole thing out. Another good thing to practice is these rolls here. Instead of forward roll or backward roll, I'm gonna take my arms out in front of me. I'm gonna tuck. I'm gonna roll all the way through. So my arms come out, I'm staying folded in half, rolling all the way through. Then bring the same thing back. So I don't change my direction as I'm doing these. My feet and my hands extended are facing the same wall. Come all the way through. Come all the way through. Last thing, for a functional roll exercise, these are our Granby roll exercises. I'm just going to put my hands on my hips, and what I want to do is roll off my shoulder, okay? So I'm going to tuck, and when I tuck, I'm just rolling across the back of the top of my shoulders. So right here. And I can do the same direction a few times, and then I'll turn it back. So again, tucking here, rolling across the top of my shoulders. Depending on the amount of space you have, you might be able to keep going in one direction a whole lot. Maybe you can only go one time one way and one time another way. Either way, you want to get this going so that you can really start to build that feeling of going with the momentum, going off your shoulders, and it'll work out good for you. Keep your core engaged, and see you guys soon.